God has perfect timing, and it's highly possible that by not being where you thought you should be, you will end up exactly where you're meant to go. Rachel Hollis. Hi everyone, my name is Mac, pronouns she, her, hers, and you may know me from being on staff here at Forefront. And I gotta be honest with you, I never in a million years thought that I would be working at a church. I first came to Forefront at the end of March of 2019. I came alone and didn't know a single person. I hadn't stepped foot in a church in maybe 3 years, but I was nearing my rock bottom and came to church as an absolute last resort. Growing up, church was my safe place until it wasn't. To give you an idea, the two messages that still sting and are embedded in my memory even a decade later are: one, my high school small group leader telling me that pursuing acting as a career was equivalent to worshiping the devil. And two, when the same church had a gay speaker come who then preached about how God doesn't hate him for being gay, but God would hate him if he pursued it. These messages didn't stop me from pursuing theater, but they did stop me from addressing a huge part of my identity and therefore lodged a huge wedge between me and God. So there I am listening to this Jonathan dude preach, and he passionately but also kind of casually mentions why he believes in LGBTQIA inclusion. Truly shook, I scanned the room, but no one seemed fazed, almost as if they'd heard this before. Next thing I know, it's communion, and someone says, "All are welcome at this table," and it actually felt like they meant it. The light shifted, the music swelled, and I burst into tears in the back row of the roulette. I first came out to myself and to God during my first Forefront communion a little under 2 years ago. It still feels like something out of a fairy tale, coming out not only while attending church, but because of a straight white man's sermon. Through diving into a small group, I quickly found my niche, a community of queer folks and allies in their 20s to 30s who discussed theology while simultaneously cracking jokes about queer culture. I found a Sunday morning community of people who come from every walk of life, people of every color, age, gender, and orientation, truly mimicking the makeup of New York City. These communities alone have transformed my quality of life beyond my wildest dreams. Then, almost exactly a year ago, I was asked to join the staff. Me, a queer, unmarried woman of color who a decade ago was being told that she was following the devil and that God hates her. Newsflash, I don't see hatred in the slightest. Being on staff is such an honor. A whirlwind, but an honor. About a month into being a permanent member of the staff, we went into a global pandemic, New York City shut down, and my Broadway dreams and acting career were put on hold indefinitely. But like Rachel Hollis's quote says, God has perfect timing, and it's highly possible that by not being where you thought you should be, you will end up exactly where you're meant to go. I can't imagine spending my days in 2020 any other way. The community here showed the F up for each other this year. This community is resilient, thoughtful, and inspiring. This fall, the staff was brainstorming what our values should be for 2021, what we believe Forefront is all about, and the phrases that kept coming to my mind were mutual aid and chosen family. Being a church staff member during a pandemic is one of the most emotionally taxing things that I've ever been called to do. But my battery kept getting recharged over and over again by all of you. One month, somebody would be in need of medication or groceries, needing to quarantine because they had COVID symptoms, and then the next month would be driving all around Brooklyn to drop off groceries for another Forefronter who they hadn't even met before. This is why I love Forefront. When I first came here, I was in awe. I thought it was all too good to be true. But now that I'm behind the scenes, I can promise you that Forefront is very much real. It's legit. These values are inspired by you. My life has been changed and is continuously being changed because of all of you. You are my Forefront family. Every week, my views of God and God's kingdom are challenged. This is the first church I've ever been to that encourages their congregation to ask questions, going against the blind faith that I was raised on. By finding this way of progressive Christianity, I found myself, the version of me that God meant to make. If this place helped me let God back into my life, I can only imagine how many others are out there wondering if they can do the same. How many people need to hear that God does not hate them at all. I found that love here, and I am so honored to be a small part in helping you find that love too. So thank you, Forefront, and all who have been in my life, big or small, the past 2 years. It has been the most God-filled, transformative 2 years of my life. And I know that no matter what curveballs life throws at us, we can count on one another, on our uncommon kinship, our Forefront family. Have a safe and happy New Year.